When I was 19, I worked as a counselor for junior high boys at a Christian camp. And each week before the kids left, the counselors would pick a positive character trait they saw in each camper. But there was one word we were not allowed to use to describe the boys, and that word was meek. You see, meekness has a PR problem. People are not sure what it means, and it rhymes with weakness, so most of the time we just don't use the word. Well, unlike us, the Bible is not afraid to speak about meekness. Jesus calls himself meek, and followers of Jesus are told to be meek. In his Sermon on the Mount, Jesus said, "Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth." You see, in Scripture, meekness is something good. So, what does it mean to be meek? Well, the Holman Bible Dictionary defines meekness as a personality trait of gentleness and humility, the opposite of which is pride. Meekness does not refer to weakness or passivity, but to controlled power. Well, when I look at that definition, I have a hard time thinking of a character trait that our world needs more of today than meekness. You see, in our public discourse, there is a striking lack of meekness. We are increasingly drawn toward public figures who lead with brashness and bluster. We like politicians and pastors who say it like it is. We elevate people who curse, insult, and demean others, and this is absolutely corrosive to our character and our communities. We desperately need to rediscover the value of meekness. Now, in some English Bible translations, the word for meekness has been replaced with the word gentleness. But our culture is not fond of gentleness either. Jesus says, love your enemies. We want to destroy them. Jesus says, pray for those who persecute you, and we want to dominate them. Instead of offering kindness to those that we disagree with, we pull out our guns and our flamethrowers because we want to fight fire with fire. We are instinctively drawn toward rage and revenge, but these things are cancerous to our character. Because of our sinful hearts, meekness just doesn't make sense to us. Now, it's natural for us to look up to those that we see as strong, but we need to understand what real strength looks like. Unrestrained anger may look like power, but it's really a sign of weakness. When we speak rashly, we reveal our lack of self-control. In 1 Corinthians 9, the Apostle Paul talks about how important self-control is for followers of Jesus. He says, "Every athlete exercises self-control in all things. So I do not run aimlessly. I do not box as one beating the air, but I discipline my body and keep it under control, lest after preaching to others, I myself should be disqualified." You see, our world is filled with people who disqualify themselves because they lack self-control. But we don't need to be like them. When we are tempted to lash out against someone else, let's remember the words of Jesus. It's the meek that will inherit the earth. When all is said and done, it's the meek, not the angry or the violent, who will succeed. In the final accounting, those who exercise self-control will triumph. Today, we desperately need leaders who will display the quiet strength of meekness. It might not draw a crowd, and it may not increase our social media following, but it will absolutely make us more like Jesus. Well, I'm Enoch, and there's something for you to think about.